Hello, and once again, we are live with the Modern Mystery School UK and EU podcast and YouTube channel. And yes, we are joined by the lovely Al. Al, how are you?
I am so happy and excited. Today is Beltane, one of my favorite days of the year. So I'm over
Now,
the moon.
I cannot wait to find out a little bit more because when I was growing up, I remember the maypole, the summer, the dancing, the Morris dancers. I don't know if most people even know what they are. Dancing and it was just all about summer and it all just felt great. So I would like to know what the actual meaning behind this day is.
Oh, Beltane is beautiful, wonderful. It really is one of my favorite Sabbaths of the year. And in fact, it might actually be my favorite. You know, we're supposed to honor all of them, but I think it's okay to have favorites, right? For those of you who aren't familiar, Beltane is one of the 8 Sabbaths in the Wheel of the Year. And the Sabbaths mark the changing of the seasons and also the midpoint of the seasons. And so Beltane is the middle of spring. And I know if you look at the weather, it may not technically feel like it's been the middle of spring, but rather the beginning, especially if you do reside in more northern areas. But Beltane is a festival of purification. So in the Wheel of the Year, there are 2 times of the year where the veil is said to be at its thinnest. And so one is very famous and everyone knows, that's Halloween or Samhain, right? And so of course, during that time, as the veil is thinner, we see the spirits of those who are preparing to pass and ready to pass on to what lies beyond the veil. But Beltane, which is the polar opposite festival, is also one of the times of the year where the veil is said to be thinner. And so for all of you out there who really love connecting with nature, with the elemental beings, Beltane can really be an incredibly magical experience because all of the elemental beings who care for and tend to nature are closer. And it's easier to have that connection. So if you get a chance today, even tomorrow, get outside, go be in nature, and you might catch sight of some wonderful fairies or elves, and all of the beings who are on the other side of the veil, right? And so we have this magic of the veil being thinner, and it's a time where the veil is thinner in the light. And so all of these beings that I have just mentioned, they are all bringers of fertility. And so they are bringers of fertility to nature. And so Sister Kate, you were talking about the maypole and dancing around the maypole. And perhaps that's one of the most famous images of Beltane itself, because it is a festival of fertility and was also traditionally known as a time for marriage. Beltane symbolizes the harmony and the union between the masculine and the feminine. And so very often on top of the maypole, there was a wreath of flowers. And so the pole, of course, being a phallic symbol, well, we know that belongs to the masculine, but the flowers at the top were that connection to the feminine. And so Beltane is a time where the masculine and the feminine come together, and in that harmony, the result is fertility. And so if you look outside, the flowers are blooming. Here in Toronto, I was so happy on this morning when I was out because all the magnolia trees are blooming. We have our cherry blossoms blooming. The flowers are starting to come out. There's green, there's color. Everything is coming back to life. And so we've truly shaken off the drudgeries of winter. Right. And And so, as the masculine and the feminine come together in that act of fertility, many things are possible. And so, of course, Beltane has connections to, physical fertility, which can mean children for some. But for the rest of us, Beltane is also a time where we can have the fertility of the seeds that we are planting in life. What is it that we are hoping to create and grow over the summer season, right? Because the growing season truly starts now. And so in this period of fertility, we have the opportunity to really plant seeds and to tend and nurture to them, harmonizing the masculine and feminine within us so that we can see the results of that come the end of summer or come the final harvest at Samhain.
I love that. It's such a magical time for so many different reasons, isn't it?
Absolutely. And I think one of the reasons that I love Beltane so much is because it really, to me, is a ceremony of the magical powers of Taurus. And so Beltane occurs during Taurus season, of course. So happy birthday to all the Tauruses out there, by the way. I know a magical lot of you. Now, Taurus is governed over by Venus, who is the goddess of love and romance. And so she is the one who governs over the relationship between the masculine and the feminine in astrology. Now, of course, Mars participates with her, but Venus is the one who governs over that dynamic interplay and the flow of energy back and forth in divine union. And so between the maypole, the phallic symbol with the flowers on top, as well as the purification rites that take place during Beltane. Very often they light fires and they would drive the cattle, between two large fires, or you would have people jumping over the Beltane fire in a ritual of self-purification. And the whole reasoning and purpose behind it was that as the masculine and feminine come together, you want to cleanse the seeds so that they yield good fruit. And I truly love all the magic and the rituals of Beltane, because this is how we bring in that Taurus magic. And I mean, who doesn't want fruitfulness? Who doesn't want, fertility for the seeds in their life? Who doesn't want beauty? Who doesn't want harmony in their relationships? And also within the inner masculine and feminine dynamic as well. Right. And so even if you don't necessarily have the opportunity to partake of a ceremony, I definitely encourage you to get outside and to spend that time in nature and to connect with the elemental beings and to honor and observe Beltane on your own.
Yeah, I think it's such an important time, because I remember it being, as a child growing up, so full of joy, and that's what the elemental beings are all about. And that dancing, the unity, the way that nature smells, everything around us, it just felt so comforting and vibrant and alive. And that to me is that connection to the elemental beings that we can all experience, on this day. Especially for those of us that perhaps, remember that as children, is to now go back and really reconnect with that, because it is, and it opens up so much for us.
Yes. And you can always take gifts to them. They like gifts if you want to connect to the elemental beings. And perhaps even if you're a bit of a skeptic and think, I don't think this is real, or what have you, or if you believe and have never had an experience, this is a really great time to do it, because those veils are thinner. And so sweet things and shiny things are always appreciated by the elemental beings, along with reverence and respect, of course, as well.
My goodness, isn't this wonderful? And here in the UK, it has been, today has been the hottest May 1st. I think for however many years. So it really is that special, you know, the breeze is going through the trees as I'm looking out now. The sun is shining. The you know, all the flowers are vibrant. The smells, the birds that were tweeting really early this morning, and I thought, oh my goodness, this is just taking me back, and everything is so magical. So
Yes. The
been
power
blessed.
of beauty and attraction is alive.
Yeah, it really is. So yeah, I mean, this is just a magical day. And in, you know, kind of in modern times, what's been interesting is that it seems to be coming back as, you know, something to celebrate, because I know when I was young it was definitely something to celebrate, and then it kind of, you know, people kind of got out of that. But what I've noticed is in the last few years it has become very popular again.
Oh, that's absolutely amazing. Then I'm gonna have to go there next year.
Yeah, it. You must come. You must come. Maypole dancing for all of us.
It's so needed.
Yeah.
We need that harmony with the elemental beings. You know, we are all part of Shambhala together, but most especially we need that harmony within, you know, between the masculine and feminine, both within ourselves, right, to create abundance, but also, you know, between each other as well. Because whenever we're interacting with someone, we are always interacting with both masculine and feminine energy, because nobody is exclusively one or the other.
I love it. Thank you so much. You know, we've still got plenty of time left. We've still got light, a good few hours of light left here over in the UK, and you've got a whole afternoon and evening. So please go out and celebrate and dance and
Get yourself flowers, dance, connect with nature, plant your seeds, enjoy fire for purification. However you can observe, I strongly, strongly encourage you.
Oh, and thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with us once again. And I know we're going to look forward to having you back on the show very soon.
It's always my honor.
Take care and good night, everyone. Good night.
Happy Beltane.